Bears our life. Bears our life. We go on live right after Bears games with your boys Draft Talking, the smartest man alive. Bears our life. Bears our life. We go on live right after Bears games with your boys Draft Talking, the smartest man alive. Way up with the true analysis you expect. Raw passion for the show. Bears fans get nothing less. Locked in with real emotion and passion for every play. Coach Phil gonna bring that range, but in with facts by Shayne. Post game show like nothing else you're gonna hear. Some can try to copy, but a bucket's not sincere. Delivering the truth on what just happened, to be clear. That's why we're on TV, so you can see it, not just hear. Hey, yo, with Draft Dr. Phil, you know it's always hit sticks. Splitting double T's like 96 Hakeem hits. You can tell the shit matters. Their love can be felt. Critical of Nagy cause the talent he's been dealt. As our life keeps growing, Shayne's all-knowing. Delivering the truth on how the QB's throwing. Dimes on time, just lacking fundamental. Whatever the case, we get hot like Cecil. Fiery discussion about what happened in the game. This ain't your daddy's postgame, don't expect the fucking flame. Not for the average fan, a loss they can survive.
But don't you worry.
Bears Hour Live.
Bears Hour Live. Bears Hour Live. We go on live right there, man.
I don't think we're that much worse.
The myth, the Rant legend, Dr. Phil Ototion.
Because teams realize, hey, we gotta stop Matt.
When you put that much into it, you don't let that. And the guy next to you says, "You son of a bitch, you better block." That's what happens. That's when you have the real quick team.
And let's get it on.
This is Bears Hour Live.
We're back, Bears fans. Everybody, I hope you're fired up. Chicago Bears marched into Cleveland. I forgot. This is the Chicago Bears. 102 years, ladies and gentlemen. I know Will or somebody's going to send me the thing that Sid Luckman was out there. We had him, but I don't know. You guys heard us at halftime. We were trying to explain things. You have the Ferrari. You don't want to do everything in your power to help it out. I'm not saying that Justin Fields is perfect today, but I'm watching Myles Garrett run off the field right now, and Matt Nagy still hasn't decided to give Jason Peters or anybody any help. Continually dropping back, leaving his guy in the pocket. It's just more of the same, excuse after excuse after excuse. Maybe he'll figure it out in year 5. Maybe it'll be year 6. Surely by year 7, he'll have this figured out. The be you, it's not. It's the be me philosophy. Matt Nagy wants to be the shiny new toy. Matt Nagy wants to be the focal point of this entire organization, and he's not going to be. He's going to be the focal point of the organization in the media, in the fan base, because he's inept in a big, big way. It's sad. It's really sad. Today should have been a great day. Even if the Bears didn't win today, you wanted to see a little bit of progress, just a little bit of it. And you saw regression in a very, very big way. So with that being said, I think everybody's buckled up and waiting to hear what DDP has to say here. So I'm going to turn it over to my guy, and hopefully somebody get the paddles ready in case he has a heart attack during this rant, because this is going to be a good one.
Oh, my God, Bears fans. If I wasn't right, I don't know. It's like that saying, if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. Well, if hiring Matt Nagy was right, the collaboration crew clearly has been wrong. And here at TTNL, we stand for the truth. I'll take a fucking bow and say, not only is it embarrassing for Bears fans and people around the world that invest time, energy, and effort into being a fan or analyzing football, real talk, X's and O's, with the tape, with no agenda, with the fucking tape. And we sit here and watch a travesty unfold. Now, let's not get it twisted. Anybody that's played the game of football or has coached on any level could draw up plays. You could draw up plays for days. But you can't prepare and you can't be ready to attack a weakness of a team if you don't understand how to be a head coach. Because if your philosophy is, I'm going to run me, as Shayne is saying, I'm going to do me, we're going to do what I do or what I want to do. It's that little shit in the corner crying because he didn't get the fucking new video game. It's Matt Nagy at his best is terrible. It's always been that way, no matter who's under center. I don't give a shit about the stats. You could throw them all at me. I don't even know if the Bears have 400 yards of offense this year.
No.
With 4 fucking turnovers last week, I'm sure they don't. But what we saw today was square peg, round hole. You don't know football if you're sitting out there defending this schmuck, this shoe salesman. Because I'm sitting here wondering, when the fuck are you going to put a tight end outside to help? To help! It's simple football! It's simple! Run the fucking ball! Get under center! You can't run boot! You can't run RPO if you aren't demanding your team to run! You as the coach and you're running fucking shoot arena football league. Fuck! It's an embarrassment. I would have that team so prepared because they aren't. They don't give a shit about what you're telling them. I'm reading lips. I get a text with Nick Foles reading his lips. This offense isn't working. No shit! It's never worked. It's never worked. This is the same guy with Chris Armstrong, this one, that one. It's Khalil Mack. It's this, it's that. No, it's the fucking head coach. It's nobody else. It's nobody else. It's the head fucking coach. If I was the head coach, I would take ownership of this travesty. Travesty. This is the same franchise that's putting Eddie Jackson's video mic'd up talking about tackling doesn't matter. Anyone could do it except him. And you guys are promoting this shit. We got to wage a wars with Ted Phillips and stadiums and all this bullshit when the product on the football field is completely Pop Warner. I've always said, I don't give a fuck who your left tackle is out there. Just give effort. The whole team doesn't know assignments. You watch one of my breakdowns. I have no fucking chip in the game. I'm not betting. I'm analyzing. That's the difference. I'm not spewing shit off my hip. Oh, well, if you really look at it, man. No! I'm looking at the goddamn tape. Everything that this guy is doing, curls, everything. Let's throw curls now and try. No. You get under center with 2 tight ends and a fullback, and you go into somebody's house who's physical just like your defense, and you attack them with the run game and the true identity of your football team and David Montgomery. Anybody else telling you anything different is a freaking obnoxious troll who should not even be talking football. I get it. You love the game. You play fantasy football, so you know it all, but you never coached. You never played. You don't know how to motivate people. You don't know how to hold anyone accountable. This is an arena league guy who's been given the job in the good old boy network when he never was he never was ready. Never. I saw it from the very first moment I've seen this guy. Jordan Howard helped you, and you traded him out of town. It hurt Mitch. It hurt everybody. But Tariq Cohen, wow, look at that speed. Watch him run out of bounds. Yeah, kept doing it. Cordarrelle Patterson, same thing. And today, you're going up against a defense that has two of the best pass rushers in football with a rookie quarterback, and you're dropping back like it's gonna fucking change with no help. Jimmy Graham over there looking for the ball. Hi, I'm Jimmy. I don't block shit. Get the fuck out. Him, Eddie, get them all out. Decide. Hold people accountable. Don't just say it at a press conference. Do it. It's an embarrassment on every level. You think anybody that has understanding of this football game understands you have to help a rookie quarterback on the road. You don't freaking RPO, false starts, holding, false start, 3rd and 1, false start. This is a direct reflection of him laughing on the sideline. It's so sad. He would not see the light of day. Monday morning announcement, Matt Nagy has been fired. That is what you do, because I can bet my mortgage payments for the next 7 months that you would never get this kind of preparation from Bill Lazor or the other guy, the fucking Italian quarterback coach that I can't remember his name.
I own the team.
The reality is this team is run by a bunch of corporate meatballers who can't understand the game of football is the only reason why you have any ducats in your pocket. The game of football. Bears fans want to see. They want to see Khalil Mack. They want to see the defensive pride, but they also want to see an offense that can get a first down, that is prepared, and that you're using your talent to attack the football field appropriately. What was done to Justin Fields today is neglect of the worst kind. It's like a dog owner leaving their fucking dog in a car in 120-degree weather. That kind of fucking shit goes down nowhere in the NFL except the Chicago Bears. Maybe the Lions do this shit. Maybe they do. But they're the Lions. You're the fucking charter franchise. An embarrassment of epic proportions just transpired out there, and the blame from some of these motherfucking blog boys is going to be on Justin Fields. And it's because of you, Matt Nagy. You, Matt Nagy, that you don't understand any kind of fucking concept. Go into the West Coast offense, run some power game, 3-step drop and run slants. Look where the leverage is. You did nothing to help this kid in his first showcase, but want to be a selfish prick ya. You prick ya. You fucking prick ya. That's the reality of what my truth is. Matt Nagy, you couldn't tie my shoes. You couldn't tie my shoes. So fuck every one of you trolls that thinks anything different. I've had many opportunities to coach college, pro, whatever. But you got to make different decisions. When I see this shit, I think of Cherie. I think of Will Hill. I think of Sandy Tom and Bearlissimo and Gustavo all over the world watching this shit. An embarrassment. An embarrassment because you're not prepared. You're not prepared. I don't pick up the phone and call Coach Day. What did you do there with him? I run what I believe is going to be helpful to this kid. And Matt Nagy, the prick ya, did none of this. He's an absolute fired head coach on Monday, Shayne. And that is my fired up rant and an embarrassment of a fucking game. I've never seen this since maybe, Shayne, maybe Jonathan Quinn, that game with him out there. It was so ridiculous. Any fucking person coming to me and defending Matt Nagy, unfollow me, get off the network, unfollow, unsubscribe, don't even be a part of that shit because there's nowhere to hide. There's no other finger to point, Shayne. It's all him. It's
Totally agree, man. There's nowhere.
It's
nowhere else for him to go, Phil. I mean,
Jesus Christ. I can't
this
even believe people are DMing me. You got to understand this, that. No, I would put 2 tight ends in there and help chip the goddamn end so he has an opportunity to make a read. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I don't send my son who's 7 into a fucking breakdance battle in Europe against guys that know how to break. It's like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? It's so unfortunate. I've never been so fired up ever in my life watching, because I feel so bad for Justin Fields. I honestly do. And Juan Castillo, you got nowhere to fucking hide. Barrelissimo, get the fucking tape. Let's go. I'm ready to fucking get this released tomorrow because it's so embarrassing. What are there, 12 plays on offense anyway?
Yeah.
Jesus
First guy out in the pressers is Roquan Smith. But Phil, let's play a little bit here of David Kaplan, friend of TTNL, behind the scenes talking about what he would do if he's running the Bears after what he saw unfold today.
I owned the team.
Seriously,
I would fire him tomorrow.
really?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Exactly.
I would fire him tomorrow.
2 first downs they got.
It's over. Like
Hire Olin
I would
president.
say, Matt,
I'll
we have to
shut up.
develop that kid, and what you're doing with him is criminal. You're out.
You're 746.
Just give me a few more weeks. Just give me a few more weeks.
Nope.
Let me get him developed.
Nope.
We're on to something. We're close.
Nope.
If you give me one more week, I'll show you.
Nope.
Listen, we've been in this thing. You told me we were in this thing together. We shook hands.
Matt,
You said your handshake was as good as oath.
I'll pay you your contract. You're out. It's over.
Unbelievable. We're on the same page. I'm trying to explain this shit to my son who's dealing with COVID. He's sitting there. I got a mask on watching this dumbass call plays.
Today was Matt Nagy's get out of jail free card. If they showed any sign of life with this kid at quarterback, any sign of life, maybe you and me and the diehards that really dive into the tape and kind of know what to expect at this point wouldn't have jumped on the positivity train. But I think the masses would have been. They said, all right, this is his first game. Bears got beat. Justin, showed great potential out there. They got to get some things cleaned up. He would have bought some time. I mean, he regret. I mean, Phil, he made things worse today for himself. He knew the situation going into this game with Justin Fields, and that's what you came away with. That was Matt Nagy's game plan today. Was Myles Garrett has had his issues. Myles Garrett took over today, and you're still not going to chip the guy. You're still going to keep Justin Fields in the pocket. And listen, I understand that he's a pocket quarterback in high school and college. Guess what? He doesn't have that fucking offensive line here. That's not that hard to figure out. People keep on saying on Twitter, oh, you didn't watch Justin Fields play because he didn't roll out much in college. He thrived in the pocket. Yeah, because he had an elite offensive line. He doesn't have that here. That's called adapting to fucking chaos. Matt Nagy can't do it. Matt Nagy adapts to chaos when there's a fucking fire. Let's throw some gasoline on it. We'll burn the whole fucking thing down, and then we'll start over.
Exactly.
And then we'll look for the whys.
I can't wait to hear the coach. I'm the opposite of some of the people in the chat. I see, and my phone blowing up here. I want to hear you lie to the fans because I want to be the one pointing it out again and again that you're a fraud. You're a shoe salesman. You're somebody that was given the job. And the reality is, to Shayne's point, I'm sitting there saying, when are you going to use Cole Kmet and JP Holtz and the 17 other tight ends you have to help the tackles in this game? Like next week, we could do something different. But today at the half, You're like, okay, let's go into the half, regroup. It's only a fucking 7-point game at that point, and yet you still have excuses for this fucking guy. Let's hear what this fucking clown has to say, because I would have made sure my tight ends were out there helping out and making a different plan for the second half. There's nowhere for you to hide, Lovey. Matty.
Getting
Matthew.
This offense ready to go, to be able to play and win a football game. So it starts with me, it ends with me, and it's as simple as that.
Oh, shit.
I appreciate the fight from our defense. I think that they fought their tails off the entire game. They kept us in it. As much as we were struggling, they kept us in it against a good football team. I also want to credit Cleveland. Coach Stefanski does a great job. Their coaches do a great job. Their players.
Oh my God! Could we have hired a young coach like him that actually has a plan?
That's
understands running the ball is important. Jackass!
It starts and ends with me. Is something that I take to heart, and I know that.
I'm sure you do. Keep letting Eddie talk about not tackling. That's on you too.
Coaches, that's going to be the next challenge is moving forward and getting ready to play Detroit next week.
A real head coach holds players accountable.
How we wanted it to go. You almost can't even make it up.
No shit.
No
shit. It didn't. That's not how you wanted it to go. You kept doing it
on ourselves, and we understand the whys.
Imagine every week we're going to understand the fucking whys.
I thought you guys were right into it until that.
Come on, Dion. Ask him. Did you find out any whys today?
Started with the false start, kills that drive, and then you go down and give up 7.
Yeah. Again, offensively, we get to a 3rd and 1, and we have a false start. There's a
Calm
thing
that
starts with me. I'm obviously not doing a good enough job.
Calm Matt Nagy.
Making sure that those guys are prepared in those situations. We didn't convert then, and so you go back to 3rd and 6, and then we don't convert. And
this guy can't figure out running the goddamn
ball. You
ball.
got to take advantage of that, and
you can't.
It just was we weren't able to get in a rhythm.
Why no tight ends helping your tackles on a day?
Good job of holding them, whether it was the 2 4th down stops and the sacks,
ask them,
or whether it was just being able to do enough to keep us in it. So in the end,
why not run the Wildcat 50 times? How about that? Get in the red zone, run the Wildcat.
Bill, they ran the Wildcat and then ran action off of it the next down.
But I think that
let's run action off it. We're gonna skip.
Are you a really good job of staying calm and composed?
It is like playing
with the sacks that he took.
An 8-year-old.
He never
Madden.
Once got
That's
frustrated
who he is.
or angry.
Like,
I thought
I will whoop that ass so bad. They're going for it on 4th and 28.
More just them beating you guys straight up? Or
did you think about helping them?
Jeff, I'm going to go back.
I didn't see it. Go ahead.
And I think
I got to go. There it is, Cherie.
This is
got to go back and take a look at it.
You want to go back and see, get on the plane and start watching the film to see the why, what that is. But
dude, if I hear this motherfucking why shit,
with the limited amount of yards,
see the why? You know the why. They got beat.
Amount of plays and
why
points
didn't you put a tight end to help?
And so
that's the why.
See, but it starts with me.
Fucking asshole. The corporate defense mechanisms they have. You gotta see the why.
Just everything. I think everything that goes into it, whether it's whether it's the scheme, whether it's
get rid of play calling again for the second time.
The execution part and. When you
fool you
struggle
once
like we did today offensively, that's what I believe. I really believe that. And I think that our guys were fighting. I think they were trying hard. I think their effort was there.
Give them a lollipop
in the
for
end,
doing their
there's
job,
a responsibility and accountability to make sure that you have your guys ready.
He's saying the opposite of what he did.
In this
you see what I'm saying? That's what a goddamn shoe salesman does.
And that's what I believe.
Hit the like button. Smash it, as Jackal's telling you in the background. Let everybody know what the best post-game show on the planet is right here.
Well, we
every time he says we got to know the why, got to look at the anything with why. Anything.
Try to do.
Please take a shot.
They know as well, and so
whatever you're drinking.
There's some parts that you got to be able to adjust. If they're going to try to take something away that they think he does well, then you got to be able to adjust to. So. That's where when we get back to it and we watch the tape, we'll see exactly where we went wrong and why.
Yep.
And then ultimately,
there it is.
In the end, it's my
There's
job
another
to make
why.
sure that why part.
There's another one.
Fixed.
This is a
Because
corporate
I feel
shield.
like right now, where our defense, the way they're fighting against a good team like today, they gave us an opportunity to be in there to win the game. And then we just didn't do enough.
You're here for 4 years, and your offense still sucks.
Right then and there, and get them out of the pocket, get them away from harm's way, and give them a better chance to.
Yeah, again, we know where we're at with that. And
why are you the head coach?
Not going to allow.
That's the question.
And without getting in the scheme, there's things that were going to be a little bit more difficult.
I don't want to give away any scheme. Me and Ryan are going to go talk about it with Ted.
Those edge rushers that
they
got, they're long. I told you at the beginning of the week, they're like basketball players. They're long and fast.
Exactly,
and
barely. 4 years, it's getting worse.
To the edge sometimes.
So they didn't give away scheme, Phil, and they still gave up 9 sacks and had no offense.
Hey, nobody can film practice, Greg.
And
you know what?
You got to be able to do like you guys.
We don't want to give away any of our secrets here.
And do different things.
Fuck out of here.
It's a simple
film every practice of Atoshins. You're still not gonna fucking beat me. We're gonna fucking go out there.
Yeah,
we're gonna fucking fight. We aren't gonna play this patty cake. Let's drop back 128 times.
It's not gonna damage his development because I know who he is and how he like on the sideline how he was. I think when he watches this and sees, let's see as we go through it.
The wise man once told me
or
a shoe salesman only gets but 1
element, right?
to 2 years. You've gotten 4, and it's been worse.
Use this to try to help you get better.
Matt Nagy should be fired after this game, period.
He cares.
3 games, the offense isn't even going to have 400 yards passing combined. There you go. I'm from the Arena League. I'm from this. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, no. Well,
be hard on this guy. Forget the Bear. They take away your fucking press credentials. Come on this show and let all the fans bury the Bears.
And that's
ask
where,
them the fuck.
Whether
Did you? When are you going to find the why?
Whether it's movements, whether it's screens,
when
whether it's drop back, third down, where are you at, and how are you protecting? All of that comes into play, and you got to be able to adjust to that and make adjustments. And this is his first time going through that. So I think for all of us,
if he had a coach that
what
was
makes
competent,
it hard and difficult is just
imagine that
production,
competence,
right? That makes it hard. And when you have 9 sacks,
imagine any fucking person thinking they know football and defending this clown.
There's a learning process for him, and what he's going to get from us as coaches, and what he's going to get from his teammates.
368 yards
to help him, and
to the
again,
Bears,
like that starts with me. So we're going to get back to it. And
the only thing that would make this even better is if he shed a fucking tear right now.
Move forward.
There's the wise again. Take a shot.
Yeah, I think he might have dinged his hand up a little bit. I don't know a whole lot of the details.
Yeah. Why would you ask about your franchise quarterback?
Nah, I didn't see it actually, Shayne. I got to go watch it on tape.
The lack of sustainability on offense has nothing to do with the way the defense performs in the second half in terms of missed tackles and things like that. But when you come out here and you say, your fault as a veteran offensive lineman, false starts on 3rd and 1. Does that in any way prevent you from being able to identify what the issue is and then correct it?
So the correction part, when you look at, I look at it from the defensive side, is I say, because there's a feel on that sideline, right? I know this, when you're getting those stops on 4th down, they're going for it and you're getting sacks.
Imagine getting those stops like another franchise and actually making people pay for it.
Where you feel like, okay,
Matt Nagy's going to use Justin Fields as a scapegoat. He's going to blame him
on offense, and we weren't getting first downs or weren't getting touchdowns, and they kept getting stops.
This is the kind of negligence.
You get into that 3rd, 4th quarter,
Shayne is saying,
it just wears you down, and that's where that 4-minute offense for them. They're built when they get that lead like that.
Throw up that stat again.
That line that they have,
that was probably in the
that
3rd quarter.
And it's hard.
The other one.
It's not easy, but that
one was probably in the 3rd. We got another guy saying it's 417
really today, and that's where I think.
Look at the time of possession here, Coach. What do you think of that?
We're going to get right back to the drawing board and figure out why. And then same thing with the coaches.
There's a why again, Cherie. Take a shot.
Start there, and I'm going to make sure that
no Caden can't drink.
On your second field goal, it looked like Justin on the field. Did you consider
negligence?
Thought about it, but at that point too, the points were hard. And to be able to get that back.
When aren't they?
A 1-score game.
Dude, the points have been hard every time with you.
Would have been a little bit.
You had 4 turnovers last week, and you still couldn't fucking put a touchdown
I think
together.
It was like 4th and 2. If it was a little less, might have been a little different. But I do like the fact that he wants to be aggressive, but we got to be smart too.
Is it on the table to make changes personnel-wise on the offensive line this week, or are you committed to these five?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into any of that as far as because we got to look into everything, but it's not on the table for us. It's just about making sure that we do this thing together.
Not even on the table. Nice.
It's
not on the table.
They what's going on. And
what if it's important?
They're going to hold themselves
417 yards.
They'll see what that's all about.
47 yards.
For
Thank
us,
you, Matthew.
I'm going to be very anxious to get into that why and really just see
take another shot.
Where it's
How did that all play out with him getting back in there?
I don't know. I'll find out more from Andre. I don't know the details of that.
What did you think he was going to go back in?
From what I was being told, I think he was
unbelievable.
He was go back in there, so that was good.
The franchise is in
Say that again.
Hands of the why.
Right.
The question is, why does he have this job?
Right.
He is completely. Greg Olson didn't want to throw him under the bus, but he's doing things that aren't going to help your rookie quarterback.
It's hard to do with these numbers, right? To where we're at offensively. So the competitor
he's had his time. He's done it on the tape.
But at the same point in time,
every single week, it doesn't matter if it was Mitch, if it was Nick Foles, if it was Andy Dalton, or Justin Fields.
With the coaches,
he's the one.
Again, when you have guys that do care,
number in the equation for you fucking stat nerds. That's the one thing. Your math equation.
That's come from this thing from, and
because right now he's just talking out of the side of his fucking mouth. It's bananas.
Game next Sunday against a division.
No
opponent.
shit.
And when we get back to the facility there at House Hall, get to the whys and then fix it and move on.
There's another why. Somebody have some fucking balls.
I have no idea where
he's got to ask why he's getting this pink slip on Monday. That's the only why he should ask.
Did you hear what he just said though? They asked him
if
Fields was a starter next week, and he's like, I have no idea.
All right, Matt Nagy there, and Jim, he took the blame, said it was because of all the.
Please remove that.
Oh.
Get rid of Nagy, Uncle Dave. Come on, he sucks.
There's my son. He's fired up about it, and I don't blame him. It is a travesty, and there's what do you take away from this? It's the same thing with Mr. Nagy being the second part of the defense that you have to, game plan for. He's the one.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have
you're going against the opponent.
I think we're going to have to keep an eye on the Justin Fields hand thing. Ryan Cox just sent me a tweet from Brad Biggs. He was the one that had answered that, and I'm literally loading up a picture as I speak here of Justin walking into the locker room. And you can see the way that he's carrying his non-throwing hand, unfortunately. And I think that this is going to be something worth monitoring moving forward. So
his left hand, he's holding it up. Well, that's what happens when you have a coach refusing to chip or keep a tight end, max protect, do some things that are actually going to help your football team out. He did none of that with a rookie quarterback. It was, for me, as I said on Keeping It 100, we have the audio. I said, this is the moment where you see truly who Matt Nagy is. When we pulled the curtain back and we saw the Wizard of Nagy Oz of the Chicago Bears, and he was just completely showing you he never prepared this young quarterback whatsoever, that they're finding out things he could do. Well, they're not asking the whys. They're asking the fucking, they're just ordering. They're ordering you to do this dumb shit. And it's unfortunate because when I look at this football team, there's no way that defense plays that well and that you're not able to get first downs. Not with Justin Fields, not with David Montgomery, not with the talent that you have. It was the same thing. Curls. It's just completely in the shotgun. It's trying to run RPO. when you haven't established anything of a run game off of that, it's confusion across the line of scrimmage, and it's not at all indicative of an NFL quality football team. It's an embarrassment. And I think former Connecticut quarterback Dan Orlovsky apparently said exactly what I have been saying. You fire this guy, David Kaplan. You fire this guy. At some point, Virginia McCaskey, you got to fucking understand that football matters more. In a corporate world, there is no football. They don't want you talking about it at the water cooler. They want you working and working. So when you're throwing out these corporate words like the Y's and BU and collaboration and all of this bullshit, it's just to hide the fraudulent franchise that you've become because you've allowed somebody that isn't qualified to be a head coach. The only thing I think Matt Nagy could coach is possibly receivers or quarterbacks. And that's a stretch. That is a stretch. That's my truth. Because there's a point in this show, this game, Shayne, as a head coach, he's over there with a Surface Pro by himself looking at things because he's not a head coach.
Right. Well, Phil, there was at one point somebody that was at the game was sending out tweets literally in real time saying Matt Nagy isn't even over there talking to Justin Fields. It's all Nick Foles and Andy Dalton.
Exactly.
And I mean,
it's like,
but where's Flip? Where's
that's
Henry Burris?
I couldn't
Where's
remember his name?
Bill
Filippo.
Yeah, Bill Lazor, I believe, is up in the booth. But I saw somebody in the chat had a comment probably about 7 to 10 minutes ago saying they can't believe that Matt Nagy was the offensive coordinator for Patrick Mahomes and the offense in KC. He was in title only. He didn't call plays there. That's exactly. Andy Reid's show, always has been Andy Reid's show. Supposedly they gave him some play calls in the playoff game when they went away from Kareem Hunt,
the ball,
the number one rusher
Kareem Hunt, who showed you today.
Yeah,
it's hysterical to me that you have this kind of performance in this kind of game coming with the franchise quarterback that you drafted and you set it up. Anybody that's been around football, I'm just telling you, anybody, they're going to have this game plan centered around running the football and helping your quarterback develop confidence as the game goes. If that means you got to get under center and run downhill, inside zone, outside zone, everything this guy has hung his hat on for years, mind you, average defensive winning games for you. Defense won the Bengals game for you. The defense won the Coach of the Year award for you. This is a team that still can't get out of its own way. Today was the day where I'm only glad that everything I've told you about this guy for years has come to fruition. And there's been nobody else telling you that then. Nobody. None of them. And those clowns that are still hanging on like fucking Stallone and Cliffhanger to hope. There is no hope with Matt Nagy. There is no hope because he can't coach. He can't be a leader of men. He can't go, Eddie Jackson, get the fuck out. You ever do that shit? He can't do that. A real coach can. It might affect the game. It might. There's no telling. But maybe the next guy steps up. That's how you control your football team and keep them focused on always putting the best out on the field. Today, obviously, all the fucking Mac haters could go shut the fuck up and cry in the corner. The Robert Quinn hater, you saw what they can do. You saw what they can do. The head coach couldn't do anything. And if you're sitting there blaming the offensive line and blaming this and blaming everything else and putting any blame on Justin Fields, then you don't know. You don't know the game. Now, was there moments where Justin is good? Yeah, there is. It's like a boxer getting hit in the ropes and they fucking gotten beat, and they're just standing up to fight. They just have pride. At one point, Justin can't even see what the field is given because he has no trust in his offensive line. Would you? Mike,
Phil, super producer Cherie
Yes.
just sent me a tweet from the NFL on CBS. The Chicago Bears averaged 1.1 yards per play versus the Cleveland Browns. That is the second fewest by any team in a game this century.
Jesus Christ.
Year 4 of your head coach.
My boy Ivan Vargas is sharing the same thing, but it's being retweeted. Can you read who it's being retweeted by?
Yeah, Jimmy Graham. Yeah.
Jimmy Graham is taking a shot at his franchise quarterback.
Here's Justin. Get the audio for you.
Jimmy Graham is taking a shot at his coach.
I'm good. You know, I talked to Nick and Andy on the sideline, and you know, it's football. You know, you have these days.
talk to
You
my
gotta bounce
coach.
back and come back better.
Didn't
and,
talk to
we just got to get better as a whole. So
Exactly.
I know me personally, I'm going to get back working harder than ever, and you know,
Don't
just try
miss
to keep getting better
Shayne's
each and every day.
drop there. That was great. Yeah, I talked to Nick and Andy on the sideline. That's football.
Yeah, they were just telling me, you know,
Not
there's gonna
the
be
head
days
coach.
like this, and of course games like this, but you know, it's about how you respond and stuff like that. So. Just trying to keep my spirits up and stuff like that. So, you know, it's great to have those guys as a support system, and just knowing that we support each other.
Is your hand okay?
Yeah, it's good.
Is that your throwing game?
Yep.
Can you imagine Jimmy Graham retweeting that?
Opportunities to use your mobility and
You have
be in
big
there
problems.
representing?
You got huge problems with this guy. It's
Mobility
got to be
and
done.
plan what the Browns representing.
Do I feel like there's?
Do you feel like there are opportunities to run today?
I mean, yeah, I ran a couple times, but you know, I think you know we played a great defense, and you know, I just went out there and tried to play my best. So yeah.
In this century, huh?
At any level of football?
No.
No. What will you lean on to bounce back?
The way I feel
Let me
right now.
see. Not
You
my
know, I'm
head
used to it,
coach.
so I
I'll
don't
tell
like
you
feeling
that.
like this. So just me not wanting to feel like this, and literally while I'm saying this, I'm getting goosebumps because I just don't like feeling like this. So I'm just gonna get back and I'm gonna work. That's
How's
it.
your hand? That's what you got to ask.
He said okay.
I feel good.
Okay, there you go. So Nagy can't use that shit for his reasoning and
Kind
rationale.
of like you're in a dark space and like you just want to do everything you can to just get a win. Like no matter what it is, like no matter how long I have to stay in the facility, no matter what, like you just want to come out. And after the game on Sunday, you just want to come out with the win, no matter what you have to do. I didn't get a chance to talk to him after the game. I had to go get an extra.
Everybody's favorite, the Bears blog in the first half tweeted, "Can everybody calm down? It's been one half with terrible blocking."
I mean, yeah, I didn't even need an X-ray, but you know, they're just being
he
safe
just
and
followed it
cautious,
up
so.
with a defense was ready to play today, Mr. Nagy. Why wasn't the offense? So
Mr. Flip Flop.
That's
great analysis. Keep
only-
following him, guys.
It only took you one more half to figure that out.
Yeah, keep following that
Guess there
guy.
wasn't
The
enough.
Bears fraud.
There wasn't enough chatter.
I was just expecting to win. I didn't necessarily have a expectation on how many
The sad
touchdowns
thing
they're
is
going to throw.
everybody
you know,
was so excited
stuff
to
going on
see
like
this
that, but,
young kid
Those aren't
play.
headphones.
every
Those are
game
keeping
we
his
should
brain in
approach it
place from the
expect
ass
to win,
kicking
and
that he just
it's
did.
that simple. As far as you know, being my first start, I wasn't trying to treat it like my first start. I was trying to treat it like a game that I was
Oh, my
trying to go out there and
God.
play and not make the moment bigger than
Yeah,
it
I
is.
could have
and
done
just
without
go
the
out there and ball out.
headphones.
So yeah, that's
Put them
my plan,
around your neck at
first game.
least.
Some people were talking about how even keel you are. You've gotten to that point in your life where you feel like that. Did you feel that?
Can you imagine? I just can't believe he didn't fucking put tight ends in the second half to help.
Yep.
Why?
I think you have to
Why?
keep that
Like,
kind of mentality
I
throughout
just-
whatever situation.
It
and,
infuriates
when things don't go
me
your way,
to the
it
point of
shows who you
anger
truly are on the
laughter.
inside and just the
Do
way
you know
bounce
what
back and
anger
the way you,
laughter is? It's when
react
that
to those
moment
moments.
before you want to fucking just drive your fucking whole body through a person and just destroy them. Like you lose it. That's where I am. Like, why do that to this kid? Like, you're so fucking dumb, Nagy. You're such a fraud. God, the
'cause at
shoe
end of the day, those
salesman.
people don't matter. when it comes to wins and losses. They're not helping us.
For
win,
4 years, we've said, be
whatever
shoe,
they want.
be shoe. We've said it.
The one thing that'll
Nobody
make
else.
this worse, Phil, is if Dalton can play and they go back. You have to play. You have to. You can't. You just can't go.
You gotta
back.
fire Nagy tomorrow.
They won't.
I
think
don't
you answered
care
your
if
own
they
question. I
won't.
mean, you're going to play guys in this league, so
That's what you gotta do. You gotta, and you
Did
give it
anything
over
surprise me?
to Laser, or yeah, you would give it over to Laser at that point.
I like to score touchdowns, and that's it. So whatever way, whether that's dropping back in the pocket, moving out in the pocket, it
Like,
doesn't
you
matter. to me.
can't even find separation because your defensive line. People ask, he couldn't find. He had no separation. No shit. You've been a Bears fan your whole life. You don't remember the Bears destroying people like this because their pass rush was just dominant. You didn't live that. Now it's happening on the other side. They're destroying your pass pros because your coach / Mr. I need to know the whys is not helping the offense change. He can't go into halftime, like Shayne said, and make the appropriate changes to help your team be successful. That's the reality. So you're going to continue to listen to somebody like Dion said last week or 2 weeks ago, like no other football coach in the world or the country is saying we got to figure out the whys, except this guy. Except this guy. I mean, there's no truer testament, because as a head football coach, you have the whys. That's how you attack another football team, because you have them. Like, this is why we're going to win, guys, because I believe we could run the ball on them and really open up the passing game through that. He's never done that. Never once. Never has he decided David Montgomery, 2 tight ends, get Jimmy Graham the fuck out. He can't block. He can't block. So you put someone in there, Jesse James and Cole Kmet, and you go down the field running the goddamn football, and then it's 3rd and 2. It's 3rd and 2, and they think you're going to boot. So you counter that, and you run it up in there, and you get the first down. Now you got them on their heels. Then you go screen. Let them come at you, just like they're doing to you. They're taking away your strength. Screen, 40 yards. Come back again, screen, 28 yards, because they're countering their calls to your aggressiveness. They have the whys. You don't, because you got a fucking shoe salesman as a head coach. I've been saying it for so long. Everybody worth anything that is a fan, 100 crew, you should know that. Stand up for it. We can't tolerate the whys anymore. We need somebody like Olin Kreutz as a president of football to get the real answers taken over. That's my true feeling. Like somebody that understands football first. Everything else will happen off of that. Guess what? The business, like McDonald's isn't worrying about how many people come in. They worry about, let's have a product that's accessible, that's quick, that everybody's going to like. So let's make sure it tastes okay or great for whoever. And that's where the business will continue to run. Business of football. Guess what? The Jags fucking make money. They suck, right? Stop worrying about business. Start putting football first. That is the point. We've got a fucking terrible head coach. At some point, you got to get away from that kind of person that's calling plays.
What are the whys, right? What are the whys? And so when we all understand what the whys are, whatever that is.
I'm telling you, how stupid is that?
Thank you. That's this summer. It's over and over and over. This is after the Titans game in the preseason. My father's reacting to that, Shayne. How stupid is that? It's still going on today.
Yeah.
It's still going on. Guess what?
Not changing.
Are you tired of it? Are you tired of it? I'm tired of it. It's sad, man.
You get to a certain point where back in April, you thought these guys figured it out because they really lucked into this situation, with Justin Fields. It's gotten progressively worse since camp started with them. With the way, no reps. Matt Nagy comes out and says, hey, we found out when this kid gets reps with the ones, we found out what he likes and what he dislikes.
Exactly.
It took us until, week 3 to figure that out. In the season, nothing is going to change, man. You could see it in Matt Nagy's face today. It was like he got a little dose of reality, really how bad this is. But he's the same old Matt Nagy. You are always going to default to what makes you comfortable. And Matt Nagy wants to be the shiny new toy. He wants to be the reason that the Bears win, not the talent on the field. There's no other way around it. For the life of me, I understand this roster is not perfect, but there's more than enough talent on this roster than for them to win with, and not to see a debacle like that today. You should never have to see that. And it's to the point, Phil, where it's just a first down in year 4 of this. The biggest play of the day today on the Bears offense was a pass interference.
Right.
Downfield. But I see we have a...
Well, let me say this real quick on top of that. I saw a great comment. I couldn't see. I think it was a Facebook user comment. But you hired a Canadian Football League coach. Then you hire a coach that's over a hill. Then you try to copy the Rams and hire somebody that Bobby told you and Andy told you is going to be really good for their team. And then you hire a guy that's an arena league coach that's never, ever been a head coach before. And he's got a limited resume in regards to calling plays, to Shayne's point. And then for 3 years, you put up with it, and then you get the collaboration fucking presser. And we're dead. We're dead in the water at that point. Because we know this is what's going to happen. And then Justin Fields turns the page of hope, right? You have hope. And then when all is said and done, when football starts to begin in July, you as a head coach have a responsibility to your football team to make a quarterback competition, because it does several things. And let me just say this real quick on this show, our show. A, it builds morale for the football team and everybody else. That's A, point A. It shows that everybody's on stage with their performance. It also uncovers that winning. It tells everybody that winning is the most important thing. Not promises, not empty bullshit, not salaries, not politics, football. That's part 2. Number 3, it prepares both guys for starting. So you have the added benefit of getting those reps that are so important when it doesn't matter. So when it happens in real life, in real games, with everybody watching, they've been through this war. They will come out of it. But instead, we got Nagy of Oz. When Dorothy pulls that curtain back and you see this schlep back there pretending to be something he's not. We found out some things he does really well today in practice, in fucking practice. And did he run those things he does well? That's even more concerning. So in regards to every bit of a failure of a franchise falls on that decision. So all of you frauds, bloggers, blog boys that are saying this should have been, there should have, no competition. Let him learn just like Mahomes. And he ain't Alex Smith, Andy Dalton. And Matt Nagy's not Andy Reid. And the Bears roster isn't the Chiefs. Today, of all days, despite Stu Dog's pain and suffering, and all of us suffering with this franchise, that is the difference between a championship team, whether it be Tampa, the Patriots, or whoever. They understand that competition breeds success, and you put players in positions they're uncomfortable in. They learn to be comfortable and overcome those odds. And that would have had Justin Fields prepared for today. Your head coach, who's your head coach, last point, wasn't. No matter who tries to defend it, it's indefensible to not put tight ends chipping and helping those offensive tackles who clearly were struggling today in a game that was 7 points at halftime. That's all I could say. That's all. And if you follow this network, and if you are a paid patron, you would know everything we've broken down defensively, offensively, is all what has come to fruition with the issues with this football team. And I'm super proud to have over a million views on this network, and people stealing shit from us, never fucking giving Tape Never Lie, Shayne Marsaw, or Cars, or Claw, whoever, myself, credit. You'll see. But I love you fans. I'm just so fired up today because you know what? It's my job to uncover the truth because nobody else is doing it. When I put up the tape, and thank you, Berlissimo, for stepping up when the NFL doesn't, part of our network. Same with him, showing the truth. I'm super proud of our team. This is how you run a football team. I hold everybody, ask them. I fucking yell at people, make them uncomfortable. They can't handle it. Get the fuck off the network then. Step up, do whatever it is that asked of you, and go. Today, we're getting a shit show full of excuses, full of what ifs and whys. Question whys. You are the head coach. You tell us why you suck. If not, retire tonight. I can't do it. I'm overwhelmed. I said that last week he was overwhelmed. And that's the truth.
Adam Rank has chimed in, and he has his Halloween all ready. He's very prepared.
Is he ready?
I think I'm going as former Bears head coach Matt Nagy for Halloween.
I talked to him because he was defending Matt Nagy this week. I said, you're going to have to come on the show because I'm going to have to give you a fucking intervention. If you want to see my screenshot of that, become a patron because Rank's response to me is hilarious. And maybe, I haven't checked my phone. He's told me I won that war.
Big plays are nice.
Yeah, they are nice. Speaking of nice, every week we bring on a fan or two. Today, apparently, we only have fucking one person that wants to tell the truth of what they're feeling. Hopefully, their sound and everything is hyped up. I'm fucking hyped up. As you can see, I'm sweating in here, Shayne. I got the cooling thing on, but I have not been this fired up in a long, long time. Tell him, Stu, dog. You have one job to do in the audience. You fucking hate Matt Nagy. Smash the like button. Smash it. Share it. If you hate Matt Nagy, that'll get you to do it.
It's 100 Crew Hot Takes. Phil and Shayne bringing on a fan to talk Bears and what just happened in the Bears game each and every week. You have to have hype.
Phil's always telling me to hype.
You can't be flat. So be ready, be prepared, and bring your passion.
I had hype coming out of my ass.
It's 100 Crew Hot Takes. Hashtag Spencer Strong.
Those are big time fucking throws.
Here we go. We got a guy. You're getting me dizzy, man. You're moving around more than freaking my son, and he's in the basement.
People behind me talking. Hold on, let's go to the back. Is that better?
Chris Jackal clearly not producing and talking to you beforehand about your signal. We can't.
You can hear me?
Can't hear you.
You're chopping up like Sprint did with T-Mobile. Can you hear it? Can you hear us?
I hear you fine.
Yeah, you're very, very choppy. I'm not sure what the.
You remind me
the deal
of
is.
Matt Nagy's play calls right now. Talk. Let me hear. No, you keep chopping. What do you have? Earbuds on? You got to connect. Huh?
I turn them on.
Well, maybe you got to put them on. That might be the reality of that situation. We can't hear you because you're chopping up. Are they on now?
Yeah, they're on now. Can you hear me?
No.
Still
you're
doing the same thing.
chopping after every single word. Yeah.
Damn.
Jackal throwing you under the bus, telling you to be ready.
Is there a way that you guys can check it? Is that what
We can't hear him,
Can't hear him at
Chris. Let him know it's chopping up. If you want to come on real quick, as I always say, real quick, please reach out to Chris Jack. I love my boy HL, but we can't hear him. It's as you guys in the audience. I hope he understands. There's nothing personal here, but we're trying to hear you. We'll give him another shot. Can you hear us?
I hear you fine.
Yeah, no, it's doing the same thing.
Can't hear him. So yeah, at Chris Jackal. Is that on Twitter, Chris? Thumbs up. Yes. Hit him up. You want to come on? Shayne, let's talk real quick about the defense. You know, they came out there ready to play. I'm telling you, right? Mario Edwards, Akeem Hicks.
Where's Leonard Floyd at? Right?
Leonard Floyd. Did someone ask that today?
No. I was saying
awesome.
that was the thing. You know, he should have kept Leonard Floyd, but now you see Robert Quinn, who
oh my god,
obviously
he should have had three.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He should have had three. Can we put some gloves on, Robert? Seriously.
Well, you saw Mario Edwards' first game back, and he's making an impact. And this is the thing that you see these guys coming back and making plays. And on offense, at this point, Phil, the way that this is, the Bears would be absolutely foolish to re-sign a guy like Allen Robinson. You can't invest. I mean, they have so much bigger fish to fry at this point with this coaching staff. You heard Matt Nagy say, "Oh, I'm not going to make changes on the offensive line. That's not something that we're going to do." These guys are going to hold themselves accountable.
Can you imagine saying that, Shayne?
Yeah.
In a situation where you just gave up 9 sacks, was it?
That should be
9 sacks?
Yeah,
somebody 9 sacks.
The last thing on your mind is making a comment like that. But the one comment that he would make was not committing to Justin Fields next week.
Okay, so this is why, Shayne, brilliant on your part. This is why you, as a response, like I'm just putting myself in his shoes. Say I called this shitty fucking game, which never would happen, ever. But say I did and decided to give up 9 sacks in a game and put this rookie in these situations. Phil, Coach Toshin, are you thinking about moving offensive line and do everything's on the table this week? I can't go out there and watch this perform. That's what a fucking head coach does. That's the honor. To answer to Shayne's point, the one thing he had a response to was the guy that's the future of the franchise. And to Greg, or I think it was Burkhart, one of them in the broadcast was like, well, maybe this guy is the future without Matt Nagy. I think it was Greg Olson, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, it was.
Was
Yeah,
it Greg Olson?
said that. And yeah, no, it's
if he's seeing it.
Greg Olson was literally pantsing Matt Nagy live on air today. And he knows it.
Exactly.
You're coming. Justin Fields had one pass attempt in the
Shayne,
second
if I
quarter.
get this job, if I take over the Bears, will you be my GM? Will you take over Ryan Pitt? Okay.
Absolutely.
I got my guy, my GM. I got my president.
First order of business.
Yes.
Larry Mayer gets launched to the fucking sun. No more lunch with Larry.
Lunch with Larry gone. I'm okay with that. Second thing, I want
and
Ted
the
Phillips
Bears
to
blog
fuck
will
out.
hear no more chatter. No more chatter, Jeff.
Oh my God. Honestly, it's a travesty. It's fun to think about. I would love that because I would honestly, this offense would be gone. So it ain't going to take me 4 years to build an offense. I'll tell you that. Jeff Joniak, I agree with Sean Quinlan. He would be gone too. I would definitely get a new radio play-by-play booth. I would change a lot of things, but that's another show. Maybe that's a patron show. But it's almost like playing Dungeons and Dragons right now.
No more
because
brags in the stands. Not even going in Soldier Field.
It's honestly a serious situation, though. In all honesty, we have to think about anybody in that organization that has their nose turned up. You're fired. You're gone. You don't walk around that city. You don't walk around the NFL and act like your shit don't stink when you stink, Ted Phillips. You don't do that. You don't come out, have a collaboration hearing and all this bullshit and minutia and think that this is okay. Because as I said back then, pull the audio, Cherie or Caden. Pull the audio from back when the collaboration went and we went on and discussed it. I said, well, what's going to happen on Sundays in the fall when games are played and this guy still doesn't understand it? It's been 4 years of Matt Nagy and it's been 4 years of suffering.
Like I said, man, he didn't need to show wholesale improvement. He really didn't. You get Justin Fields in there and you come out with, a couple of 100 yards, couple of touchdowns. They show some signs of life on offense. That would have sufficed. The Bears went straight fucking backwards into a goddamn volcano today. That's the bad part. Yeah.
Of Canadian and Arena League football. Let's go. We got two fans now ready to rock and roll. I guess we'll go with Ryan Billings. He was here first, Shayne. Yep. Is that how we do it? Ryan Billings, what's up? Talk about what you feel here.
Are you on your phone, Ryan?
I am this time, yep.
Turn it horizontal.
Turn it. There you go. There we go.
There we go. Bigger picture.
Yeah.
One thing I always talk about with my father, we text back and forth during the games. Matt Nagy's offense. I mean, how many times do you see routes within 7 to 10 yards after from the line of scrimmage? So people always want to talk about, well, Justin's getting sacked. He's holding on to the ball too long. That's because these DBs aren't backing up. Allen Robinson, his longest catch of the day was a curl. It was a 10-yard curl. So until we start running receivers down the field, you're not going to get any separation. I mean, he's got Darnell Mooney running a curl into a middle linebacker. Well,
yeah.
Thanks for making you easy to cover. You know what I'm saying?
So Allen Robinson's 10-yard curl too. That was razor precision on that pass too. I mean, that guy didn't cut his fingernails, 2 days ago. That would have been, he would have shut that pass down. But it was just one of those days there. But the Bears have the personnel to just run fucking even slant passes with Jimmy Graham, with Allen Robinson, with these guys. They just flat refuse. Carr's brought up a great point. You bring in all of this speed and you said, fuck it. We're going to be fast as hell, but in a 7-yard compressed area. Look at us. And we're still not going to complete passes. It's crazy.
Right. And then you watch teams like Cleveland who run out 2 or 3 tight ends on the field the entire game. So that forces the Bears to stay out of the nickel because you don't know whether they're going to, they were coming out in empty with a 3 tight end set. They're out on center. They're coming out in an I. So that forces the Bears' hands to keep their nickel DB on the sidelines. So that's why you see Mack and Quinn having to go out and cover down these number 2 receivers because they don't have anybody else to do so. Yeah. And the Bears stay in 11 personnel, and yet we run 5-yard curl after curl, and then people wonder why we can't get any separation.
It's sad because you're keeping it 100, and I appreciate that. I 100% agree with you. At some point, the disaster of what your plan was has to get thrown out. Nagy has shown time and time again, Ryan, he can't adapt or adjust. He just can't do it. He's got to continue to go. And Shayne said it at halftime. You're going to just see more of the same. And that's exactly what we saw. Real quick, your last point about the Chicago Bears and Nagy going forward, or whatever your final thought is, because we got 2 more guys. Jackal's pulling stunts on us, Shayne.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I've been a fan of Bill Lazor taking over play calling ever since last year. I think Nagy, may have been a little bit more involved today with the tablet going over to Fields and whatnot. But, I mean, he's obviously shown in 3 years that, if you get 10 points a game, that's you're going to the barn with that one because you might not get back there again. So, and I just think, 50 some odd yards, 60 yards of offense, whatever we ended up with. Obviously
47 yards of total offense.
So I'm a big fan of Lazor going forward. I'd like to see, obviously open up the passing game. And if Justin Fields goes out there and throws, 3 picks, but he throws for 150 yards, well, we've almost tripled our offense. So
listen, real great stuff, Ryan. We appreciate you. I know you're a big supporter of us, you and your dad and your girlfriend. Is she your fiance yet, or am I putting pressure on you?
Not yet, but
we can't hear you, Shayne. I can't. Can you hear Shayne? Because I can't. I can't hear Shayne.
Yeah, I hit mute because my dog was going crazy. I'm sorry. I said we're not going to have him answer that. We got to review the tape. We got to find out the why. That's why he's not married yet. I'll handle it for you.
Got to know the whys. Well, you're a wise guy. I appreciate you. You're not a wise guy as far as Mafia is concerned, but you're a wise guy to support us. Smash the like button. Thank you. And Ryan Billings, appreciate you, man, jumping on here with us. God bless you, man. Ryan Billings, Jackal, our next guest coming in hot is another guy that we've come to know and love too. I don't know where he's living these days, but he's a talented guy. He's a wordsmith. My guy, Trent Emory. What's up?
What's up, guys? It's a happy day to be here. It's been a long time coming. I'm happy to see you, but it is also one of the worst days that I've had. I mean, I've seen some fucking shit with the Bears. Right. We've all gone through some shit with the Bears. I couldn't make it up. I satirized. I had a friend ask me yesterday. He goes, okay, non-fatalist. Don't be a fatalist. What's going to happen tomorrow? Because I'm always a fucking fatalist with the Bears. What's going to happen tomorrow with the Browns? I said, well, I could see the defense keeping it close for 3 quarters and then shit getting out of hand. And I said, I know what Nagy's going to do, and I know what he's not going to do. And I couldn't have made up that we had 1 fucking passing yard. I couldn't have joked it to be that bad. And it's just like, I don't know where to go from here as a Bears fan, because, you know that tomorrow morning, they're not going to come out and say that Matt Nagy is fired. That's not going to happen. And so what will it take? And when will it happen? And when will enough be enough? Are the McCaskies sitting there and watching this? And how are they watching this? How could you be a part of this franchise and watch this and say, this is okay? We're gonna let the rest of the fucking season with our franchise quarterback go like this, or even just to allow it to get that far. Like, what else do you need to see from this guy and hear? Do they watch his pressers? I have to know. Do they watch the fucking pressers? Because we do, and it's infuriating. I can't take it anymore. Hearing the same.
Yeah, they fed him the line.
Yeah.
Keep asking the whys and throw in a little collaboration in there, and you'll be okay. Right. That's what I feel, Trent. But
asking the whys is going to make you look smart, and then you come out and say, well,
I got to remove the visor. The visor is what's holding this offense back. Imagine that. Imagine that. You have your guy that you traded
underwear.
You have your guy that you traded for last year, and the guy that you gave $10 million to on the sideline talking to each other. Nick Foles clearly says Matt's offense just isn't working. Those are your two backups. Those are the two guys that you are entrusting to teach Justin Fields, because nobody else is, obviously. That was the game plan going in here.
I'm gonna
Let's praise these two backups.
Put that up.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, come on, man. It's so sad. And this is the thing, Trent, like you said, I think I'm the same as you. You want to believe that they're going to show signs of some consistent life.
Yeah.
But it's the Bears. They can't get out of their own fucking way.
Yeah.
And it's not going to change, man. I said it.
Yeah.
Said it on the halftime show for the patrons. Don't expect the halftime adjustments, and they didn't.
Yeah.
First 2 downs, they came out. Justin Fields dropped back,
sitting in the pocket,
sat in the pocket like a statue. You know, that's what Matt Nagy's going to do his thing.
Yeah.
And it's thankfully Justin Fields has it up here. You can see with the kid.
Right.
Previous quarterbacks would have shut down, and you see them fall apart.
Yeah.
I don't think this kid is going to win in spite of what's going on now.
Yeah.
Because he's mentally strong enough.
Yeah.
But it's just, we got to get to that point where they bring in the right coaching staff. And this is me going off on a tangent, and I'm not saying that Eric Bieniemy is not going to be a good coach, but people need to stop. Believe me, this Chicago Bears franchise is not going back to that well under any circumstance. Right, wrong, or indifferent, the ownership's not leaving.
Right.
They're not going to hire Eric Bieniemy from the same fucking coaching tree that Matt Nagy came from. Get over it.
Yeah.
Just accept it. Because that's the next thing that everybody is saying. You know, bring in Louis Riddick. He's gonna
no, stay away from Louis Riddick.
Yeah,
too.
all these guys. It's
New staff. Ron Rivera got hired that year.
We have someone that's
Nick
proven,
Foles there, Trent, real
mouthing
quick. What
the-
Shayne was talking about. Watch it's upper left-hand corner. Matt's offense just isn't working.
New staff. Ron Rivera got hired that year.
Christ.
There it is.
Jesus Christ. And again, like, what I just don't understand how you can see this and you can watch this. What more do you need to see? What more do you need to hear from this guy? The whys?
Yeah.
You've had 4. The why is you, motherfucker.
Yeah,
you're the
there
why.
you go. There you go.
4
Trent.
years of this, you're the reason why this shit isn't working. And if they can't see that, I don't know where. Again, I don't know where to go from here. And you're right, Shayne. It's like it'll never change. You know, I love this team. I've loved this team since I could fucking see. You know, but you just know. I knew that. I was like, oh well, it's still close. It's still a 10-point game. They still have a chance. Shit, even when it was a 2-score game, I said, oh, maybe the defense can pull out a fucking pick 6 again. You know,
right?
Something. But you just know. And I know tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and Matt Nagy's gonna go to another fucking present, and it's gonna be the same shit.
Let me answer the Factor one real quick. I bring it up, Factor, because obviously I get DM'd about it incessantly, probably 20 to 30 times a week from people. When's Eric Bieniemy season? I know you don't have access to my DMs, but that's why. Because I'm asked about it constantly.
That's the why.
Is it really that fucking hard to figure out?
Let me say this.
Not
when
making
you
shit up, Christ.
The thing that makes Trent and everybody who cares so much, like, some people could just turn this off and they go about their week. That's just not how I'm wired. So when somebody, a troll or somebody, why is this guy yelling? Why is he upset?
Because it matters.
He couldn't because it matters. Because it does matter. Because it matters to every person that tunes in, all 1,800 of you tuning in to the show. It matters to you. He wants to know the whys. Well, he can't answer those for 4 years. Then that's your clue. That's your clue as an administration, as an organization, to know if he continues to ask the whys and use that as his shield, then he's got to go. And you look at other coaches around the league, this isn't rocket science. Coaching is teaching. Coaching is teaching. Those fundamentals, those lines in the sand that you have to draw, tough love, accountability, pride, compassion, as well as anger and frustration, those hard truths, those hard moments where you got to let a guy go. They're not putting that on the Chicago Bears show. They're putting on Caleb Johnson's nice story and this story. The reality is when a guy fucks up on the field, Trent, the Atoshan way has to bring him over, talk to him and tell him it doesn't happen again. If it does, then he's out. That's accountability. You give somebody, this isn't baseball, 3 strikes. This is
It's been the most consistent part of Eddie Jackson's games this season. It's been the most consistent
missed
part.
tackles.
Exactly.
Missed
So we're not going
assignment.
to hold him accountable.
No accountability.
Owen Meyer, Phil, had a good thing here. I'm going to pop it up there. I think I'll answer for you, Phil. I think the reason that Phil is talking about it is because he's very, very close with Matt Nagy. I would be interested in Lawrence Riddick under the
Lewis.
Or Lewis Riddick.
Lawrence. I just
Sorry. But I would just say to him, hey, this isn't a Matt Nagy thing coming back and you guys are going to try to right the ship together. If you're my guy, that's without Mr. Visor.
Yeah.
Then we can talk, then we can exchange some numbers. But if this isn't going to be a Riddick Nagy thing moving forward,
I don't trust any. My answer to Lewis, why I know Lewis was I heard Lewis on TV being against Justin Fields and not going after the truth. He was standing up for Nagy, his boy, instead of saying, yeah, this should have been open competition to prepare this team. I've never been wrong about this fucking team. Go back. If I was, we wouldn't have a network. So the one thing I'm going to tell you that I know is 100% the penicillin, not for the offense, not whatever. It's competition across the board. Players see it. They see who's better. And you as a coach have a responsibility to play the best. For him to bubble wrap guys, not put players out there, and then you see injuries and all this bullshit going on, then you're doing yourself a disservice. So that's why Lewis Riddick, I don't trust politicians. I don't. Does anybody else? We live in a country full of fanboys for fucking politicians when they're the biggest liars there are. So when you see it happening with your football team and it's bubbling over into that bullshit, no way do I want anybody who's putting politics over performance. Matt Nagy has underperformed every season. And until he's gone, you're right. We're going to see this same kind of bullshit, this same kind of corporate world. I work in a corporate world, and I'll tell you right now, a lot of those fucking people should be shining shoes with Matt Nagy. Because all they do is stem these great phrases when you're busting your ass doing all the legwork. We worked for an old network full of corporate fucking minutia. Where Shayne and I were doing 80-90% of the work in the lifting. Fuck out of here.
Phil is funny. Before I got on the show and, I was listening to the show and I was talking to my girlfriend. She gave me a call and she goes, I was telling her about Nag. I couldn't help but bitch about, she didn't give a fuck, but couldn't help but bitch about Nagy. And she's like, well, what are they, does he have some dirt on the McCaskies or so? I said, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that because it is politics. And again, you have to wonder if this accountability issue is because Nagy isn't being fucking held accountable.
Oh,
it's
100%.
100%.
Like I'm trying to get away with this shit.
Welcome to our network.
Over and over again.
Yeah, they're basing everything off continuity, and you're gonna get it figured out. That's why he called Pittsburgh.
Right.
You know what I mean? You look at Pittsburgh, and it's calm down.
Right.
Shit's gonna work out. Oh, Ben raped a teenager in the bathroom. Hold up.
Right.
Hold up. We'll get shit figured out, And it's not changing, guys. It's not. They'll change head coaches. It's the fools up at the top.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was telling Michelle, that's my girlfriend. I was like, the really shitty part about this is, again, we care, right? And And now I know it's 3 games into the season with all this excitement around Justin Fields. And finally, for the first time in my fucking life, having the potential for a franchise quarterback. Yeah. This is supposed to be, like you said, Shayne, this is supposed to be a good day, right?
Yeah, right.
No matter what happened, we lose by 20, but you see something. And what's really sad is that, like, not only is that the case, the season's shot. How many fucking seasons are shot? Because you know it's not going to change. If you're the McCaskies, either one of you two right now, and you see what happened, you watch this game today, what the fuck would you do? How could you tolerate?
I would be sitting in the locker room.
Yeah.
And it would be locked after the head coach walked in.
Exactly.
It would be locked.
Exactly.
And then that would be it. That would be it.
I'm right there with, I know, listen, we've made these points for years. And I want to give you your last point because we got one more 100 crew member. But I want to say this, because you ask, I honestly, if I was running this team, I wouldn't be in this situation because I saw what it was in its first year. It was Vic Fangio winning these games and Matt Nagy trying to do I'm doing me. This is becoming in vogue now. That people are using John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson as an equation for But I've been saying that for fucking 12 months, saying you can't do your offense. You have to do what your players do well. That's what your offense is at the end of the day. That's what a great coach. We've had my father on here saying the same thing. We coach football in high school. It's the same fucking thing. We didn't have recruits. We didn't have that shit. You got the kids that you had. So what did you do? You didn't run my offense. We said, what could these guys do well? And let's build around that. That's what good coaches do. Politicians want to win with their glory. I did it. No, Matt Nagy has been behind the 8 ball of coaching. Forget he's in over his head. Yeah. I'll quote a former future Hall of Fame center. He's way in over his head. That's a DM to me. Yeah. Exactly. There's no other way around it. This network stands by the truth. We have passion, we have pride, but we stand by the truth. There's no way Matt Nagy gets you out of this because Matt Nagy's too prideful. We were all in shock. We had a live show, pop-up show, when he gave over the play calls to Laser, and then he took it back.
Yeah.
But it's not coincidence. I know the blog boys all said, well, look at the opponents they had, and that the offense looked different.
Yeah.
They started to find the run game, and you're under center.
Yep.
And Mitch is saving your fucking job. Saving it. Instead, Mitch is gone. Everybody knows the story, but one guy, one component still is here.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. Let's hear your final thought. And I'm glad to finally almost meet you in person. Virtual high fives here, Pam and Jim and the office.
You guys. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I know you're a huge supporter of us, and I want to say thank you so much for some of the most kind words that I've ever received from fans and what have you from you. So you really make this network what it is. So I want to say that to
Trent,
you.
Did you say you know Ariel Cologne's mother too? Is that what you just sent me on Twitter?
Yeah, did you get that message? No, thank you, Phil. No, I'm honored to be a part of the show. I love what you guys do. I respect you guys so much, and so thank you for that. But yeah, Phil, you're right. It's ego is the words you used before. Ego, and what does it take, for you to put yourself aside and do what's right for your fucking team? If I were him, I would quit. I wouldn't even need to be fired because you're dishonoring your franchise.
He ain't walking away from that cash.
But he ain't walking away. I would pay him. I would say, here's your contract. If you're running this, and get the fuck out. You're out the next day. But I guess the last word on this, Phil, is, hey, at least we got each other, because this is going to be way rougher of a year than I thought it was going to be. But keep up the great work. Again, honored to be a part of the show. Shayne, I wanted to say, for your son, my heart goes out to you, man, and keep an eye out in the mail. I got something coming for you.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. No, we're
we're
getting there day by day, man. We know the whys, and then like I said, we're gonna kill it. That's the way I run my household with my family.
That's right.
I'm not gonna give bullshit. I keep it 100 with my son when we talked about all this. And like I said, it's all about open and honesty, no matter how difficult the conversation is.
That's right.
Life, football, no matter what. That's the way we do it. We're not going to bullshit here. And we're going to win. I will win. My son will win.
That's right.
Matt Nagy thinks you get through life with talking bullshit and
that's right,
being condescending, just like this organization does. We don't roll that way in this house.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it, Trent. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, man. And you got all the support in the world behind you. Yeah,
Trent
appreciate it.
So
Emory, 100 crew. Thank you so much for
you,
jumping
brother.
on with us. I really, truly, when I say I love you, I really do mean it. I hope
I'll pick up
shake
Ariel's
that
mother
hand.
later.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll be in Chicago for the Bears-Packers game.
Yes,
So
we're gonna meet up.
Can't wait to see you there. And
we got a bunch
Excellent.
of people, Jackal included.
Yeah.
Don't leave him out.
Oh yeah. What is Claudio going to be there?
Claudio's gonna be there.
Oh,
Cherie.
Good.
Hopefully, Caden will get out of this dormitory. I don't know, but yeah, the whole TTNL crew basically, except our boy Shayne, who clearly has a lot of responsibilities. So
well, I hope
we'll
to meet
see
you
you
in
then.
person soon.
I
Shayne,
will
too, but
definitely make sure we meet up, and you got to be at Bears Hour Live in the parking lot. Sammy the Bull, Greg Braggs, Alex Acevedo, Ivan Vargas, Ron G, Cool Kennedy, Cherie. All of these people will be there setting up. We'll be going live. Jackal as well. Claudio going live in, I think, the South lot. I think that's where we're going to be prior to the game. Then after the game, we'll be live doing this, and Shayne will be running it. So God bless you. Thank you for jumping
Same
on
to
with
you.
us.
Love you guys.
Thanks, man.
Have a good
real. Whoop. You have a great day too. Sorry about that. I cut him off by an accident. Before we do, this week I'm keeping it 100. The best Bears show on the planet. We're going to have a lot to talk about with this guy. Our guy, Matt Waldman, will be back joining us with his Browns. So he'll have a lot to talk about with Justin Fields, Matt Nagy on Keeping It 100. After this little promo, we'll have our next guest here, Clay, Bears fan. I can't read the rest, but Clay will be jumping on.
Nope! Does NFL Network
Hey,
this is David Kaplan.
BX20 for the Bears. Exactly, Greg.
Oh my God!
This is crazy.
I am in heaven!
If the dude's a fucking pussy.
Concept-wise, his run game doesn't match with his pass game.
This is Matt Waldman.
This is only proof.
This is Paige DeMacco, CEO of the Draft Network.
Rashid Davis, former Chicago Bears wide receiver.
Hey, my name is Rashawn Whitfield, the Footwork King. What's up, everybody? It's Ryan Nall here with the Chicago Bears.
Keeping it 100 with Shayne and Phil.
Keeping it 100 with Phil and Shayne.
You're listening to my guys Shayne and Phil on
Keeping It 100.
It's the best Bears show on the planet. Be live 8:30 East Wednesday night. Right now, we're going over what was one of the most embarrassing moments for me and my partner, Shayne Marsaw, in a long, long time watching Chicago Bears football. We got Clay. Clay, what up?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? How are we doing today?
What's going on?
How are you?
Besides the debacle that we just got to see,
We're used to it, man.
Hey, you know what? It's becoming a common trend, it seems like, especially with Nagy under the helm, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This should have been the launch point. Like I tweeted out this should be the launch point for the next 10 to 12 years. And like I said, regressed.
This
even
is
more
like that moment where they broke the champagne for the Titanic.
The christening.
Then all of a sudden the boat goes out, and you know the rest of the story. I mean, it wasn't as nice as the version. I'll tell you that.
It's true, Phil. I mean, like, honest God, like I couldn't name another head coach that can't come out in the second half and adjust to a game, except for Matt Nagy. I really couldn't. There's not one head coach. Sorry about the sun back there, but there's not one head coach that I could actually name that would has zero game plan.
I agree. No adjustments.
None. There's zero.
He's got his game plan. It just doesn't matter who's running it or who he's facing. Yeah.
I've been around, like, in truth, I've been in a situation where I'm coaching a game and another team is getting momentum. And then you call upon your assistants for help and saying, what are we seeing here, guys? What are you seeing? This guy is, honestly, there's so many jokes. There's so many puns because he's just so overwhelmed with this job. He's not including anybody. He's just doing what he's doing. And there's legitimate moments in this game where you see him completely over here looking at a Surface Pro while the defense is out there playing. I mean, that's not the head coach. That's why he just can't do both. Imagine like a veteran head coach. Okay. Sean Payton comes here. He's done it. He can do both because he understands the role, right? He's done it. This guy has not called plays.
Well, he can't get the basics right. And that's the big thing. Like, if you can't
get the personnel right.
Right, exactly. And if you can't get that right, what makes you think you should be calling the offensive plays to begin with? You know what I mean? Like, that's what you have an offensive coordinator for. It's so you can look at the broad prospect of a game. And then if you need to go ahead and adjust, now you can see those small tweaks. This guy doesn't get it. He
doesn't.
So you know what we're gonna do this week coming up. So Draft Dr. Phil's The Tape Never Lies episode. Yeah. Phil's not doing it this week coming up. Claudio's going to do it.
Okay.
And that's going to be Claudio's going to break down all the tape. He's going to do everything behind the scenes. He's going to produce the whole thing himself. It's going to be 27 minutes long. And then that's the same thing that Matt Nagy is doing. He's been put in a position of power that he didn't deserve. And Phil, my guy, was the first one on it. Listen, this has been a Chicago Bears staple. Marcus Robinson comes out back in 98, 99, whenever that was, blows up, and everybody. Darnell Mooney, the same type of thing. Everybody saw some progress, saw some positivity from the guy. Bears fans immediately jumped. This motherfucker's Randy Moss. It's because we've had no offensive production in our lifetimes, really. Walter Payton has been the most consistent guy. Everybody overreacts, and that's what happened with Matt Nagy. You saw a good season. You saw Mitch lead them down at the end of the game. But if you go back and watch that playoff game, there was big time issues before that point. Everybody based that with Mitch off the final pass to Allen Robinson, and it was great. They overrated the whole fucking thing. And that's really why we are where we are today. It's why we still talk about 1985, hold these guys in such high regard. It's sad, man.
Well, and Shayne, I agree with you 100%, right? And we were talking about probably all week, right? Let's talk about the rollouts. Let's talk about the play action, the whole 9 yards, right? Yeah, but you can't run those if your offensive line is not going ahead. I mean, how many times did you see 2 or 3 linemen in the back while he's trying to make a play? We roll those plays for those extra 2 or 3 seconds to allow our wide receivers to get open. We allow that time, and you didn't even see it today because one, you had just a complete mental breakdown of an offensive line that gave Justin Fields zero probability of creating an actual play.
And the offensive game plan contributed to that because they didn't want to chip anybody.
Well, right. So you don't throw tight ends in there. You don't go with the chip blocks when you come back from the second. On top of that, let's talk about small pickup plays. And then we'll even go one step further. Why are we doing these really small, like almost bullshit plays with Montgomery where we're trying to get run play? We never even got Montgomery started today. There was none. So you had no choice, right? But to go ahead and go into try and do this long passing game again, which we've been in for 3 years now, where we're always playing catch up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, let's be realistic. I mean that's realism. That's
game plan should have been this. Even if whatever it was at the first half, in the second half, you're going to come under center. You're going to get tight ends in there, and you're down 7 points. It's not like you're getting
7 points.
You're like, wow, This team is down. You
they were
gave up a
lucky to be-
fucking touchdown
they were
with
so lucky to
30-something
be-
seconds to
Yeah.
go in the game. So you could have been, if you fucking Eddie Jackson wants to fucking play, you might be down just 3 points or 6 points at that time, whatever it was, 3 points with a field goal. So you look at this game, it's not going to be told nationally by Kay Adams and company with these fucking narratives that they write. But the reality is, here, I'm telling you right now, it should have been 2 tight ends or complete understanding that we are going to ask you offensive linemen to call out the front and block it. And we're going to get David Montgomery on those zone plays and get them going. That's how you protect a young passer, not dropping back in the Arena League. And when you do it, you decide to not help the tackles that clearly needed help. Your center is awful. He's horrible. So all of these things could have been fixed, but they're not, because this guy, the one guy that's responsible, the head coach, isn't doing it. And I agree with you 100%. I just think you put a whole bullseye on the back of the defense. How are you going to hold up with, you got 47 yards of total offense and you're asking Justin Fields to drop back and wiggle and weave? And I don't care who was back there. Tom Brady would not be able to be successful today based on your offensive line communication, your offensive line effort, and your play caller number one. All of them need to go back by the barn, by the shed, and take a bullet, because it's terrible what I see out there. It was awful. Down 7, you had an opportunity, get in 2 tight ends, get Jimmy Graham the fuck out of there, hold anybody who's not holding their weight accountable. Allen Robinson, toss plays to the fucking teeth of the defense, Shayne. Like,
I texted you immediately about that.
I didn't see the play because I was working with my son at that point.
Phil brought it up, and I was surprised. I'm like, bro, they ran right into the fucking
Dude, I
meat of the
saw
defense.
the replay, and
Saw
it's
it,
trips left, and they have all these guys, and no box on the right. All it needs to be is just
nothing. There's nothing.
White, whatever the counter to correct the play side, check with me at the line, is a thing that helps you. All of a sudden, he's going for 20 again.
Right.
I don't know what their their language. There's one shot though, Shayne, guys, where you see Justin Fields calling a play in the huddle, right? I don't know if you remember. It's like 668, 744, 16, 28, 74, break 10. If that's the fucking language someone's got to learn, get rid of the fucking guy writing that language.
Yeah, break it down easier. I mean, he's a rookie.
Simplicity rules the day.
That's the thing,
Jesus
and I know this
Christ.
is in a different stratosphere, but the Alabama game last night, their offensive coordinator is Bill O'Brien, who was the head coach of the Houston Texans. Nick Saban brought him in and said, we want to hire you, but we're going to run our offense, and everything that we do, you're going to adjust to. You're going to change your terminology to my men out here on the field because they already know it. Bill O'Brien talked about it, and he said it makes a ton of sense, but it's been a huge, mountain for me to climb getting to that point. But that's coaching. Chicago doesn't do that. Chicago would force feed 53 men on the field to adjust to Bill O'Brien.
But Shayne, you said it right there. You said that's coaching.
Yeah.
You literally literally just said the words. That's what coaching is.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I mean,
Alex Acevedo just sent me this. Just real quick, Alex Acevedo just sent me this and said, Olin Kreutz, this is Olin Kreutz on Matt Nagy's whys.
He keeps talking about the whys. I got to find the whys. Put a big mirror in your office, put a Y over it, stand in front of the mirror. You found it, okay?
That's it.
Pretty simple.
And it's so true.
Yeah, that's why we love that dude here. And it's that simple until real. And I say this, and if it hurts your feelings, not you, obviously, Clay, because you're with us, but you're a Bears fan and you have your feelings hurt. You don't know football if you believe that Matt Nagy isn't the number one issue on this football team. I'm telling you, I've been saying it, showing you it. It's not like I'm just being the Bears blog and throwing shit out there. The next week I fucking change it. No, I don't do that. I show you why. This why on the tape tells me the answer to Clay. This is why this play doesn't work. This is why this, Charles Leno needs to go. This is why this person needs to go. It's ridiculous at this point. There's so many reasons why Nagy needs to be fired. Olin Kreutz giving you a classic.
So Phil, real quick,
the classic there, and you said it right. People were complaining last week, right? We're doing these dink and dunks, and we're getting the ball out, 1 second less than Justin Fields. Well, I mean, that's a no-brainer because everything's for 5 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards. I mean, that's all you're picking up. You're picking up 3, 4, 5 yards, and that's great. But we've watched that football for what, 20 years now almost?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we've watched. I mean, that's what we're so used to that.
Exactly.
Myles Garrett last week, they played the Houston Texans, and he came out after the game. He had, I think, like 3 tackles and no sacks. He's like, I've never been chipped so much in my life last week. And he goes, they have Tunsil over there, and they were still chipping me when I was facing Laramie Tunsil. And this is the Bears that we've talked about all the time. It's almost like they went out of their way and they said, oh, you know what? We're going to show the fucking world that we don't need to do that. We don't need to. And what fucking happened? 4.5 sacks, 7 tackles today. And he was a one-man wrecking crew.
Right.
And but that's the Chicago Bears way. Remember, Lovey, we're gonna get off the bus running the football. And they'd come out and fucking Kyle Orton would have 48 pass attempts. It's like we're gonna pull the okey doke verbally. We're not gonna game plan for it. We're just gonna come out publicly and tell you what we're gonna do.
We're gonna bullshit every fan out there. Is what we're gonna do. Here's our game plan, but we're gonna bullshit you. But hold on, I don't want to give you any schemes. Yeah. And I'll keep asking the question.
I don't fucking want your schemes, Matt. So
none of the things you've hidden. None of the things you've hidden from whatever fear that you have with training camp and all this shit has worked. It's not working. It's not. The only time this offense under Nagy has been successful is when he openly gave up the play calls to Bill Lazor. When your wife or your husband cheats on you and you take them back, the propensity is 90% chance they're going to do it again. I'm sorry. That's what it is. Obviously, I'll give you that 10%. Nagy has shown us that he's the 90 percentile. He's the guy that just can't get out of his own way. He's overwhelmed in this job. We could beat this drum for years until he's gone. But we'll all be looking back, and then it'll be fun and convenient to say. And this is why no one's defending. Yeah, no one's defending Matt Nagy now. That's the point that Shayne's making. We've been saying this on this network for 3 years now.
But
that
Phil,
it's indefensible.
I'm agreeing with you. I mean, like,
no, not you. I'm
saying.
talking about somebody in the chat. I'm just saying that's why we're saying nobody should be anybody confused that Nagy's an issue now is you're lost. I just don't get it. I don't.
And you know what? And to be honest, that was clear in the postseason when you saw Mitch Trubisky come out with the Bills, right? And they contoured an entire game plan for their series around him. And what did he do? He beat the shit out of us.
Yes, he
did. I mean, granted, hey, don't get me wrong, it's postseason, right?
Preseason.
Nonetheless.
Someone's going to troll you, so it's preseason. Say it.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah, cool. Hey, look, you see all those hard feelings I got going on here?
Look.
Oh, man. Let me cry about someone trolling my ass. No, but I mean, that's really my point is that, but if you could scheme around if you're an actual head coach, you know how to scheme a quarterback. You know how to read your quarterback. You talk to your quarterback, and you got to listen. And like Shayne was saying, right? It's all him. He wants to be the reason why the Bears go back and contend.
Yeah, he's
not the team. No, I think deep down inside, he's got this greedy little gremlin inside of him that's just
I would take
I
Dowell
want to be the
Loggins
guy remembered.
over Matt Nagy at this point. I'm dead ass serious. I don't. It's not about being right, because the only reason why I stood on that fucking pedestal or soapbox rather is because I kept seeing it like this isn't going to get better. If your center doesn't know that when you're running inside zone, he's got the first guy to his right and he's stepping backward, all these little techniques and fundamentals to the game aren't being held accountable. Like it's happening again. It's happening again. Charles's fault, the walrus technique. It's happening again. It's happening again. It kept going and going and going and go. And then everybody and their brother is like, oh, if tape never lies. Those guys have an axe to grind. Blah, blah. No, a real head coach fixes those issues, holds them accountable, teaches them the fundamentals. There's none of that going on here. I'm going to watch the tape. George is going to send me cut-ups because the NFL is not giving us the all 22 yet, even though they promised. And I'm going to sit there and watch mistake on the offensive line after mistake. And you know who's suffering? The quarterback, because it's all going to be put on him. Kay Adams is going to talk about it in Good Morning, and this one's going to talk about it, and they're not going to talk about Matt Nagy. Well, Matt Nagy's tough, Orlovsky and a few of them will, but still, the overwhelming thing will be Justin Fields looks awful for the Bears. That's how you ruin people. You ruin them. I think Shayne's right that this kid's built better than that.
Yeah, I do.
But really,
that's
what happened with Darnold, with the Jets. That's what happened with David Carr. That's happened with so many quarterbacks down the list. They have all this talent, but they can't get out there because of your coach.
Phil, real quick, we do have a question in the chat. Actually, for you, Clay.
Clay has a question.
You have a question.
Military. Are you in the military, Clay?
You to address this situation that we see on Twitter.
Yeah, that is. That is like like I said, I'm 15 years. Hey, look, that's a young pitcher right there. I'll tell you what. Man, I wish I still had those arms. All right, I wish I still had those arms like I did back when I was, 20 years old. God forbidden,
Sheree, did you want to chime in?
Clay.
Clay,
your final thought, Clay.
You know what? Like for both of you, right? For y'all are hitting it right on the head, and like so, we've what you've said is what most legitimate Bears fans think, day in and day out. Like we've known what the problem is. There's no way you go through three quarterbacks and there's not a common denominator. But
right.
I mean, at the end of it, like we you know what? Let's just all go into the pray mode that the right thing happens. Hopefully tomorrow morning, and I think everyone out there knows exactly what I'm saying. Hopefully, we hand over that play call to Bill Lazor. Let's get on the right track. Let's bear down and let's actually play the season where we can be successful and give Justin Fields that actual pedestal, at least a stepping stone to where we know where his potential is.
Yeah, and I mean, as an organization, the most important person isn't the head coach right now.
No,
it's number one. Everything from it should have happened back in April. Every decision from that point is all about with Justin in mind. But if I'm the fucking owner, I'm the team president, and they're not smart enough to do this. But Matt Nagy at a fucking minimum isn't having a fucking play sheet next week.
Oh my God!
No fucking way. It's the Bill Lazor show, and we move on from there.
Well, I appreciate you jumping on, Clay. I know you're a big supporter of us. Truly great job coming in here. Third, batting cleanup.
Hey, try doing my best, Bill.
Yeah, well, you did, and I really appreciate you jumping on.
I batted cleanup on Ariel's mother. Hey, still going.
It's still carrying on from Wednesday. I appreciate you, man, coming on. the best Bears post-game show on the planet. Am I right?
Hey, you know what? There's no question about it, right?
Thanks,
That's
man.
what I like to hear. That's Clay, Bears fan Clay. I'm not going to even try to say his last name. Guy was ripped up. He reminds me he might be in the military, Shayne.
Yeah, I think he
Coming
was.
in. He was? Yeah, he looked
Sure,
like he
sounds
was.
good, yeah.
Listen, we're going to wrap this up here, put a pretty bow on it. I got to just do a couple business things. If you're not a patron yet, I don't know what you're doing. Obviously, you check out over 11,000 people checking out The Tape Never Lies, which came out on Friday, Shayne. So
Yeah.
today's Sunday. So you're obviously checking out the network, what we do here on Saturdays. Me, Berlissimo, and my father do a coach's clinic every Saturday, breaking down the defense and big plays and moments in the game that sort of change the tide of the game. The tape never lies.
Tape never lies.
The tape never lies.
Tape never lies. The tape never.
Sign up, become a patron at thetapeneverlies.com. X's with the O's, as well as Shayne. This week, we unveil to patrons first before Wednesday night the new Matt Nagy song, Curls, Curls, Curls.
Speaking of Matt Nagy, real quick, Phil, Adam Schefter
Yes.
is reporting Chiefs head coach Andy Reid was transported by ambulance to a local hospital following Sunday's game. A source close to Reid told ESPN and Jeff Darlington that the Chiefs head coach is in good spirits when he departed for observation after he fell ill. So the trade deadline is not passed yet. So if they're interested maybe in a potential,
Hey,
backup to
John
their head
Gruden
coach,
got traded.
we could ship him over there.
Trade Matt Nagy to Kansas City.
We do wish Andy Reid well, but I don't know. Did you see how Detroit lost?
No, I didn't.
Justin Tucker set a new NFL
I did.
record 66-yard field goal for the win to knock the Lions down.
Imagine though, the Lions are competing.
Nagy would have
with the
punted it.
Baltimore. Nagy would have punted it. Listen, if you're not a fan of this network, I don't know what to tell you. Please do us the favor. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the like button and hit that bell, that ding, so you know when we're going live. We'll be breaking down this team, good, bad, and indifferent. In all seriousness, not nisses, all seriousness, Shayne, your final thoughts. I'll end with mine, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I just, I like to think that I'm thankful that we have Justin Fields. I'll put it that way, because if they didn't, and this was going on, each and every week where you didn't have that upside, at least that guy to look at and get excited about, it would be a whole different ball game for me. But, Khalil Mack, Robert Quinn, it was nice to see that duo cranked up. And I know with all of the negative surrounding this franchise each and every week, sometimes it can get a little bit monotonous focusing on that so much, but it's where we are, at breaking this down, because there's so much negative. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of positive to talk about, but seeing those outside guys get cranked up today, you saw Travis Gibson break through on one and get the deflection, pop it up in the air. I thought maybe there for a split second, maybe somebody could pick that off. But Mario Edwards back. Something that we didn't even talk about the guy today, Eddie Goldman. I guess Eddie Goldman had COVID. It wasn't, being too close to somebody that had COVID. So there's some rumblings out there that's actually what he's dealing with, is the after
instead
effects
of being truthful with that
from that. Yeah. Well, I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works exactly. That's probably up to the.
But you're having
the
fans
player.
destroy this.
No.
guy.
I
You
know.
what I'm saying?
I know.
You're like, just be.
Phil, I totally understand it, but this franchise isn't forward thinking like that. Unfortunately, it's the way that it is. It's just like coming out. You don't think that they're going to double down on questions tomorrow with Nagy when he didn't commit to Justin Fields today?
If they have any fucking professionalism, they would. I mean, that's the story on top of the story. I mean, that's one of the stories. There's so much, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but it's just, at least you want to say at least we have the defense. There's still a lot of issues there on this defense, we know, and it's, but like I said, Mario Edwards is a guy that he's been a difference maker in the limited amount of time that he's played. Last year they gave him the extension, 2-game suspension, came back in today. You saw Akeem Hicks get dinged up a couple of times, and at one point, man, he was fucking gassed. I actually thought that they needed to yank him off the field at one point just because he was, you could just see it.
I thought the Tunga penalty was bad. I don't think he could have done anything.
But it's what it is, Phil. It's what the rule is, and that's the direction that they're going. They want to see him put his arms out to make an attempt to not, bear hug them all the way down. And I agree. It's football. To me, it's the football that you and I grew up with. It's just not the football that they want in 2021, unfortunately. But hey, the Bears took one on the chin today, and they can't have this showing next week against Detroit. Plain and simple.
No.
You want to get the tornado sirens going on the fire Matt Nagy train. You go out and you put forth an effort like that next week at home versus the lowly Detroit Lions, then shit's gonna get real. I mean, that's gonna get George McCaskey's attention if you go out there and you see another performance like that. So it is what it is, man. We're gonna talk about truth. If it's negative, right, wrong, or indifferent, we're gonna bring it up. Like I said, if it's uncomfortable, and I know some people get pissed because there's a lot of negativity that we're talking about here, but that's because there's so much of it with this franchise each and every single day. So that's the focus, unfortunately, until things change, and nothing's changing for a while. I don't think. It is what it is, man.
Real quick, my final thoughts here. Thank you, Jackal, for timing that perfectly. Just great production. Seriously. A coach has a responsibility on every level: pee-wee, high school, college, and the NFL. But in the NFL, it becomes even more of a priority because your future is stacked to where you prepare, or do you push aside? With Matt Nagy, he's acting as if he has so much time. And it's that arrogance that I think is just a spit in the face to the fans by the organization and by Matt Nagy himself. Of all the things in the universe, of all the things in my lifetime, the most disrespectful thing I think anybody could do is spit in another human being's face. I have no tolerance of that. And where this analogy is obviously not physically happening with Matt Nagy, but it's actually happening with Matt Nagy. To you, the fan, to all of us, the analysts, there's only one belief that I have. And when it goes to Shayne's son, Riley, or Ryan Cox's son, about positivity. On this show, we want to be positive. I wanted to come on here in a victory or a battle, a tough loss, and look at some of the positives. But when so much shit is going downhill, there's only one thing that you're covered in, and that's shit. And here we are at the end of the show, repeating what it is we started with from the beginning. Until the Chicago Bears understand the fans are a hell of a lot more, or hell of a lot smarter than you give them credit to. that they are the reason you can actually think about having a stadium in Arlington Heights. And they are the reason why you play these games on Sundays, just like the NFL needs to understand that every fan is important that has paid for a service. Until we start recognizing these things as an organization, and with Olin Kreutz saying, put the why on a mirror so he can look into it. And as Shayne has said many times before, this organization has to right the ship now. And to Shayne's point, my final thought is this. As a head coach, you have a responsibility to those 53 guys plus the practice squad and everybody involved. You lost this game today, coach, because you weren't prepared. You're not holding anybody accountable. It's a golf course club in the secondary with your safeties and shit talking and all of the bullshit. Get back to football, give up the play calls, and allow this young quarterback an opportunity to grow into what we believe he is, a franchise quarterback. This week for the Chicago Bears, we're going to be breaking it down. We're never going to turn away. As hard as it is to come on this show after a tough loss, it always is therapeutic. And I have all of you in mind when we do our shows. I've had over 100 DMs or emails or texts saying thank you so much for what you and Shayne and company do. It is therapeutic for me. It saved my life, on and on and on. We will not let you down. We will cover this truthfully, passionately, and appropriately. We will never have a narrative. My narrative is to be wrong about Nagy like I was with JP Holtz. But Nagy's got to do it. He's the one common denominator. That being said, Bears Hour Live, the best Bears post-game show on the planet. Another amazing show. Thank you to the guests that jumped on the show. Become a patron right below, thetapeneverlies.com. Check us out, Keeping It 100. We'll be live with Matt Waldman this week, Wednesday night, 8:30. Tomorrow, I'll be live with your guy, former Chicago Bear Chris Zorich, on the Super 16 Poll Show, breaking down the college football coaches and teams. Have a great day.
Real quick, Phil. Justin Tucker's field goal went 19 more yards than the Bears' total offense did today.
And there you go. An offensive guru. He is not. He is Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy, handover play callers. Hashtag fire Nagy. Get the, I guess it's trending now. Hashtag you do your part. I'm not on Twitter, but God bless you. This is another great show. Thank you to all of you fans, all almost 2,000 of you live, and all 790 of you right now still tuning in. God bless you. We'll be back again, Bears Hour Live, next week after the Lions. And Eric Kramer will be coming back Wednesday after Bears Lions. Just a nugget if you were still paying attention. God bless you. Shayne, for Shayne Marsaw and myself, Draft Dr. Phil, this is Bears Hour Live.
Thank you for watching Bears Hour Live, the best post-Bears game show on the planet, on the Tape Never Lies Network.